So, coming to next session, with great honor, I welcome Professor V. Subramanian sir, who mastered science, that is in physics, from American College, Madurai, who completed his Doctor of Philosophy from IIT Madras in 1995. After a brief stint as lecturer in BRITS Pilani, joined with IIT Madras in 1998 as professor and is currently a professor. His research interests include relaxer ferroelectrics, dielectrics, multiferroics, photonic crystals and metamaterials, near field and far field microwave imaging, electromagnetic interference shielding materials. He has published over 150 papers in referred journals, presented papers over 100 conferences and awarded 2 patents, guided 18 doctoral students apart from several MTech projects, completed sponsored projects of more than 20, and he has conducted 3 short-term courses for the benefit of college teachers. And he is a senior IEEE member, life member of IAPT, and for fellowship of the Academy of Sciences in Chennai. Now, I request Director CFR to present a book to Professor V. Subramanian sir as a token of remembrance.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so let us start with the Sanskrit sloga. Sagana vavadu, sagana bunaktu, saha viryam karavavai, tejasvina vadi damastuma vidvishavai, om shanti, shanti, shanti. This Sanskrit slogam is very much apt for our life. You are in the teacher-student mode, right? The research scholars joined here, right? So you are being part of the research group, you have a guide, okay, the teacher. Okay, so it's like a Guru Sishya. So here this slogan says that Guru Sishya, when they are learning together, please note that it is not that Guru is already learned. Okay, Sishya is not that he is a dumb. Both are very good in their thing, but both start learning together. This is where the starting point for the research. When you say that teacher is already learned, it's like LKG, right? The teacher will tell you how to write A, B, C, D, Arana, Avana, Ina, Iyana, etc. Okay, so there is like there it is that learning mode in an individual capacity. The teacher knows everything and then the student learns. When you are in the PhD level, at a higher level, both learn together. I think Dr. Ravichandran also told you that teacher does not know that. No, you should not think that teacher knows everything. Teacher may also make mistakes, right? Because you are in a level where it is a cutting edge research is going on, where everybody will be like in the learning mode. Okay, so that's what. We have to learn together. That's the first sentence. Okay. When you are learning, there should not be any conflict. The teacher will give some kind of a interpretation, you will be giving interpretation differently. There will be an argument. There will be an argument, not a conflict. Okay. The argument should be such a way that you will be getting into the enlightened mode. In the higher level of platform you will go. Okay. Then the third one is that, the third sentence what it will do that, this particular learning is for the improvement. It should not degrade you. Like if you say that F equal to MA, you should not end up saying F equal to MA square, right? So it should be in the proper platform. It should be in the higher learning, correct way of learning. When doing all these things, you should not get troubled by 3 factors. One, because of your own troubles, trouble due to environment, okay, and then natural things. So these 3 things, no, should not trouble you. That's where the final one says that Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay. So with that, let us start our lecture on research methodology. So why did you come for research? Any passion? You had a passion and because of that you came for research? Or did you come for, no, because I didn't get anything else. So I came here. Okay. There are 2 categories. Okay. Only most of the times, we are being forced to go for research. Okay, after your master's program, Okay, they will say that job opportunity will be higher if you go for PhD, right? That's one way of doing it. Another is, no, I want to learn a lot. Okay, I want to research on the subject. Then because of that, I want to get PhD. Please remember that each and every individuals are researchers only. Have you not done research without PhD degree? We see that cameraman does the research. He will think, whether lighting is correct or not, whether we can focus or defocus, right? He is not getting any PhD. But then that we call it some kind of an experience. Like, the Kotanar will do the building much better than the engineer. He doesn't need a PhD for that or even a degree for that. He will do everything on his own, okay? That by of experience. Now, this is what is being slowly modified in terms of the research, okay? No problem. Yeah, it can be there for another 10 minutes also, doesn't matter. Okay, so let them do the research on how to get the system ready. Okay, meanwhile we will continue that. Okay, so you will find that the way, okay, how, now, why we should be in a research mode? Why should we be in the research mode? We always are there in the research mode, right? Inherently, without even having a explicit information, you will always do the research. Want to catch a bus, you will do a lot of research. What do you do? Generally, you want to go to Adayar. It's very nearby, right? What is that you will plan? You plan first of all. What is the planning? That's what we say research, okay? Research in planning, okay? So what all the things you do? You first, if you are a very much internet savvy, immediately look up to that and check how to go. ChatGPT will tell you. You walk to the gate, take the 5B bus or 5E bus, whatever it is. Okay, 47A, take that. So first level of research you are doing with ChatGPT. Nowadays, even the first level itself is ChatGPT only. Okay, earlier we used to go to the next person, next neighbor, madam or sir, how to go. That is our first literature survey. Okay, we do the literature survey by going to the next house. Okay, our roommate, our classmate, and check, I want to go and buy certain things, I want to take the bus. That's our first research. Nowadays, even the first research itself is going into the ChatGPT. Okay, just click how to go. It will give you all, even the sometimes timing of the bus also, which time it comes. So your job becomes so simple. Now, your job becomes so simple due to what? Somebody has done the research for you, right? So the research is something for the betterment of our life. Like you are looking for something like, I want to get a job. Why should we want to get a job? I want to get a better life, right? So the better life, quote unquote, the better life is actually forcing you to do certain things. Another way is that right from the childhood, the kids will be taken to the exhibitions, okay? They will be asked to see movies, where science fiction movie will be there, right? Rocket science, Nambi, his movie will be there. Then Abdul Kalam, you will get, all that movies or what are the pictures, what all the things, your parents would have shown. This actually motivates the kid. So whenever the kid gets motivated, slowly when they are growing up, they will be able to tell that. If you see that, LKG student, if you ask him what he will become early in the future, immediately that kid will say teacher. Because the first level of teaching is done by the teacher in the LKG. They will not be worried about your parents, etc. But first they will only worry about or give much importance to the teacher. Okay, slowly when they go, when they are growing up, their interest will start changing little bit. Okay, so there the motivation also gets changed. If you see that, and around our 8th standard or 7th standard, nowadays people will tell you that please prepare for JEE or NEET. Okay, no, their intention is that you are growing up. Now thing is, whenever you are going for JEE classes or NEET classes, immediately you have been given a kind of a motivation to do a higher studies. Okay, so there it starts. You see the personalities. Some personality scientists like that. Okay, from ISRO, when people come, director of ISRO comes and gives you a nice lecture, that evening that fellow will go to the room and dream as if he becomes an astronaut. Okay? So that type of motivation the person gets will give you that. Okay, so natural tendency. What all we are learning is very, very little amount. We have learned very little. Even if you are after your MSc or your master's MS program or all the things, okay, you have learned a little. Even we have also learned a little. Sir also has little learned. Then he will learn that, okay, there are many things which we have not learned. Right? So, கற்றது கையளவு கல்லாதது உலகளவு. So, more. So, that is what is important for that. Your desire to do a good life becomes very turning point for that, to do the research. Okay. Now, the thing is, another, mostly that if you see that to get supremacy, when you say that, you want to survive, right, in this world. To want to survive in the world, there is a competition, like your jungle. Fittest will survive, right? So if you are the fittest, then you have to survive. Fittest in the sense, how you will be able to bypass or surpass your peer in that. So there, no, the same, no, if you have studied about the same 11th standard, 12th standard, BSc, MSc, etc., then you will be able to, you will be trying to do, no, extra things. You research on certain things and to get more marks. You research on certain things to get more important things in the life. That's how, no, you get the supremacy in that. So this actually gives you, it leads you to a very good way of life. Okay, so mostly this is being done to improve your lifestyle. Finally, it all boils down to the single thing, whether your salary is 5 digit or 6 digit, right? That's what. So way of life becomes very important for them. So, two things are there. One is motivation, another is necessity in that. These two will give you same goal. Goal is same, but how you approach will give you two different aspects to that. If you are driven by the kind of a motivation, your quality of the research will be entirely different. If you are moving towards the way of life or improve your life, their quality of research will be entirely different. Okay? It is something like, Sir says, if a paper gets accepted or rejected, how you take it. If it is rejected, okay, one thing is, I can go to the next journal. That is the way of life. But I will struggle, I will answer to the editor, get back, I will ensure that the paper gets accepted in the same journal with the same editor. That is motivation. Okay, these two are that. So you have to be motivated. You should not think that my paper gets rejected and therefore I should go to the next journal. No, you should never do that. First, ensure that the nature of the rejection and start replying to that or start reacting to that. These two will give you the difference between the motivation and that of your improving the way of life. Okay. Okay. So what are the basic elements of research? As I mentioned, survival is one of the best one. We have to survive in this world. Okay. So with the degree, okay, I will survive. Need-based, okay, this is what is called a requirement, becomes a need-based one. Okay. And then you have the search for existing knowledge. Our life, mankind is not going to be simply getting the salary and enjoy the life. It will try to look for newer things. Whenever, that's the reason you are traveling. Why do you travel during holidays? You want to explore things in that. This exploration will give you a kind of a knowledge in that. Okay? Is here the exploration goes to moon, etc. Forget about the exploration to moon. Even going to exploration to any other place also, you will be able to find many things in that. Okay? People have gone to the under ocean, finding many creatures living without even oxygen. Okay? Without light. Many creatures are there. As you know, there is a Tamil thing, they know, terai. Even though it is inside the, that stone, it will survive. Okay, so how it survives, you want to learn, right? Even if you take the kind of an ant, it goes into that, makes a big network under the earth, okay? So if you dig it up, you will get a very big underground of that. So how their life is being conducted, okay? These things are also a kind of a research which people would like to know. What is that? They will get it. If you are going to dig it and see the whole array of colonies, okay, what is the interest on yours? It is going to give you food. Initially, no. But the thing is, the way, you are motivation to that, to see how ants are actually surviving, even with when the whole thing is getting flooded, it will survive. Okay, how it survives, in what way that particular information can be used by us to make our life better. Okay, honeycomb. That is one of the very important structure which helps us to do many things. Okay, it gives the one which gives you the very nice shock absorber, honeycomb structures. Okay, so you see several things, then apply it to your life. Okay, to improve that. So that's the reason people go for the searching for the existing knowledges. Okay, so they get that. Then improvement of the existing knowledge. Something like, I can say water molecule has H2O. Okay, so you have your bond things at the angle, if you say 102 degrees or something. But like pi, 22/7, we don't stop with 3.14. Then another fellow will put 1.1415. Then nowadays goes up to 26 decimal places. Okay, so the way how people are conducting research to know better, to improve their existing knowledge. Okay, this is one of the examples. Even if you say that I want to have a very good earphone, it's not that only Bosch will give you, right? Philips also gives you, right? So they do, even though they know the existing knowledge, they want to improve it further on that. So improving it by using the metamaterial, acoustic metamaterials can be put in that, and then you will be able to get a very good noise cancellation device, right? Outside noise will not come, only certain frequencies will be allowed to go inside. So these type of your acoustic metamaterials, they will be able to develop and put it. So for that, you need to have the research on that. The new interpretation for analysis. So whatever be some statement, whatever be the statement you make it, or whatever be the inference you are getting it, you will try to analyze that in a different way. Okay, so everything will become, you may get the same absorption spectrum, but then the absorption spectrum, in what way you will be able to analyze that in terms of your elements within the bonds values. Can I get the more information from that? So all these new interpretation or new analysis, you will be able to make it. Okay, so for that also you will go into the research mode. Okay, now finding gaps. Okay, certain things you may not have. Okay, so certain information may be missing in that, so you do not want that missing. So if you want to know what is missing, you should know the entirety in that. You should learn everything, then only you will know where the mistake is, where the gap is, right? So as soon as you do the literature survey, quote unquote literature survey, or learning everything, then you will know, something is missing, I would like to fill it up. Okay, so that's one. Even if you take the case of going up to the coconut tree, plugging the coconut, it's not an easy job, right? But certain people do it very fast. But I also want to do that because if I have to rely on another person, I may be under trouble. So what I should do? I should try to develop a new instrument which can help me to climb the tree without much trouble to get the coconut. So this is a kind of a thing, no gaps, finding gaps, and then extension on that. Okay. Then now comes the how to do that. Now you have seen that, okay, I have got some kind of a problem to be solved. How to do that? That's where your research methodology comes into picture. Okay, so you have to chalk out the methodology and then carry out the plan. It's not only the methodology what you are having, the methodology must be executable, right? So you make that executable things and then analyze that. Once you get that, you get the results, you try to give to others and check whether I am correct or not. What all I have done, whether it's correct or not, you should be able to get it right. So you have to disseminate your results. And finally, you have to say that I have done this dissemination, what I should do further. Maybe I may not be able to do. Future, some other persons may also do that. So for that. So as I mentioned that in this particular thing, a human activity based on intellectual investigation, it tries to attempt, find out, okay, into systematically and scientifically manner, okay, and also it's systematically investigation performed to establish certain facts. So facts can be established by systematic way of doing it, okay. So this is where your basic elements of your research, okay. Okay, and if you take the chat GPT types of research, it will give you several things, okay. I have given you only little here, okay. So as usual, I am only giving very little amount, you have to learn a lot more, okay. So you have basic type research, and then you have an applied types of research, and if you take basic, you will be having this experimental thing as well as theoretical. It can be product based or simulation based for advanced, okay. Then you have that what you will get to the experiment, it will be giving you a kind of a new discovery, and then in case of theory, it will lead to a new proposition, okay. And then if it is going to be a product, it must be industry oriented, then it must be simulation, it must be for the new product. So if at all I am going to do my research, I should be able to give finally a useful thing. Apart from your 5-digit salary, okay, it must be something useful. So if you ask somebody, no, you have done so much research, tell what is the usefulness of that. So if people say that, okay, I have done it on the basic science, what can I do? I have done it on my basic science, so, but I have discovered certain new things in that, okay. If at all I am going to put it in the applied, I say that I will be able to define a product. So I have made an instrument which I can use it to climb on the coconut tree very fast without the help of others, okay, and then pluck the coconut, right? Or I can even, some people are using nowadays even monkeys to pluck that, okay. So it's a kind of a new research being done on that also, okay. So the combination, it said that only experiment, I am only experimentalist, I don't know theory, okay. Theoretical fellow will say that I don't know any experiment, I will simply do the theory and then give it to the next door fellow, he is an experimentalist, he will do that, okay. And then you see that same way experiment and simulation also, if you see that, no, experimental fellow will do the experiment, simulation fellow will do the simulation separately, but the deadly combinations are the same fellow will do the experiment and theory. So that's the reason, if Ghulam sir tells you, gives you a simulation and then the same simulation is being done by the student in the experiment, that paper gets accepted very fast, right? That becomes a deadly combination. Theory with the experiment, okay? Mainly nowadays, people who are all doing theory, okay, they are not doing the experiment. Who are all very good experimentalists, they are not going towards theory. Nowadays, that is the reason people are allowing them to do interdisciplinary research. Co-guides are coming, okay. But best thing is, guide should be same. Guide should be able to do both the theory and the experiment. That means if guide is able to do, you should be able to do. Because guide imparts the knowledge to you and you must become much better than the guide after 3 years. After 3 years, you should say that guide is useless. If you don't say, you are useless. Okay, that's what the important thing is. So most of my students are better than me. Okay. Okay, deadly thing is, it will give you very high, good quality publications. Okay. I think somebody laughed. Is it that they wanted to tell even the first year itself? I don't know. Maybe okay, how to choose a topic? I don't need to tell you this. You say, who are you to tell the topic, right? So, you will go through papers before coming. That's the reason I asked you, what forced you or what drove you to sit in this chair? Okay? With certain ideas you would have applied for the research, right? That is the one which is going to give you the topic. Some people will say that I have entered into mechanical engineering, but only that faculty was available. So I joined, right? So now you will see that. Now thing is, certain people may not have any idea earlier. When they joined, okay, they will be able to see the kind of area, and from there they will start choosing the topic. It's not that they are not, they have not come with the motivation. Their motivation is to do certain research, but they are clueless in proceeding further. That is a job given by the department, or you can say that guide will tell you where to look into that. So guide will assist you in choosing a topic. So here, it must be driven by the latest topics. Okay, say in very thing nanotechnology. Nowadays only machine learning is better. I will use only machine learning. Okay, in front of computer I'll sit and do that. And then I want to do only additive manufacturing. I am a metallurgy person. Okay, I will do only additive manufacturing and do that. Okay, like that. No, it is all driven by the latest topic in that. Okay, like metamaterials, space science, nanotechnology, superconductivity. In one time, no, for so much fuss about that. Nowadays, can you search anybody with superconducting nature? That particular thing, that's nowhere people are there. Okay, they all died down. Okay, so because these researchers, we may spring certain time. Okay, they get more, as I mentioned, no, just because from ISRO, when director comes and gives a talk immediately night time, no, everybody will think that no, I want to become, want to join ISRO, I want to become a space scientist. Okay, after 2 days later, another person from DRDO will come. He will deliver a talk. Immediately his thing will change. Okay, something like that. No, this particular topics also need not to be always there in the system. Okay, nanotechnology may be very good in that, then later it may get changed also. Metamaterials nowadays they say that very great. That is the one which gives everything. That also may change. Okay, so but anyhow, for the present one, they will be able to choose. Second one is very important. I have already mentioned that several times. Driven by the interest. Okay, so that will give you a kind of a thing. But once you come into the system, the second one is gone. Okay, because it's not driven by the interest of that. Because you have joined the particular system already, you are being forced to do that. Even if you are forced to do that, you can always find a way to make it interesting to you. Okay, right? Marriage is also like that, right? Before marriage, nobody says that I want only that girl or that boy. After marriage, whoever gets fine will enjoy with that. Okay, that is what the second one is. Now it changes into that. Okay, so now comes the necessities. As I mentioned, that guide driven by the vacancy and do that. Okay, and then the job opportunity. If you do on the searching where the elephant that ant makes the colony, you may not get a very good job, but you may be having a very limited chances for that. But still, okay, there are many avenues available. Only that particular people know how to get the future out of it. Okay, so here if you see that, choose a broad topic and narrow it down. Okay, physics, condensed matter physics, and then you go for materials. Then go and say no, only oxide materials I would do. Then you can say I want to go for multiferroics. Then we say that I want to go to thin film. Then I go for the device orientation. That way you choose the topics and then according to that. So that itself is almost half the problem is solved. So you have got already half the PhD you already got. Once you choose the topic properly, okay, that tells you. Okay, so that is you are narrowing down your choice depends on many things. How you do the literature survey more effectively, that is very important. Your seniors will tell, okay, you have joined, your fate, what I can do. But I can suggest you one thing. You do in this particular area, you will be able to get some PhD. At least you will survive, he will say that. Okay, because seniors know initially he will be very much unhappy with you. Okay, slowly he will become so much friendly with you. That's a different issue. But that's the first thing you will get it. Then your guide will say, okay, you please follow this particular thing, you will get it. Then your resource availability. Even though no, I want to do research on the moon surface, what is that I will do? Okay, so availability is not there. No, I have to only take the internet search and then get the data, available data, and do that. Okay, so this is also tells you what type of narrowing down you should do. Okay. Okay, now the tools of research. What are the things you will be having? Okay, you have to start following this literature survey, the experimental facilities, analysis methods, programming capacity. Okay, then you will have this what all the collaborations I have. Okay, then what about the presentation platform, how to actually disseminate my results, and then how we will be able to write the things properly, because you will become a very good storyteller. Storyteller will tell the story, but you will become a story writer. I can say that you should become both actually. When you are standing like this, you should tell a story, and then when you are sitting on the desk, you should be able to nice story writer. Okay, any paper you are writing, it's a story you are giving to give. The story is so interesting that the fellow will not reject your paper. That is what. So, that's what you are getting. So, what all the things you should have? Whatever I say, you should first accept. You should have the perseverance. What is this fellow is telling all these things? Let me patiently hear first. Right? That perseverance is needed. Okay? Then in your thing, ethics is needed. Another important. You should not steal. No? Ethics is very important in the research. I can't say that, no, if I put a mass 1 kg, I apply 1 Newton, I got not 1 meter per second square, but I got 0.9. No, there's something wrong. Let me put 1. Okay, like no, the classes, no, laboratory classes, a student will do, right? As soon as they know, the teacher would have told, it's a linear variation. Immediately, a fellow will start putting, it becomes parabolic. Now, what he will do, he will start taking that, put the point up, okay, push it. Now, the origin is also giving, now, you can push the point up. They push it and then give you a nice result. Teacher will see and give mark, right? So, ethics is becoming very important because that itself will kill you. Okay, any result, what you think that it is wrong, would have been right. Right? So, first of all, don't steal. Whatever you are getting it, you be truthful to project that. Okay, tell that so that analysis can be done very nicely. Working in a group, you are not alone. PhD scholars, you are not alone. You cannot be something like, I will grow on my own. What is my, did you feed me? Your parents, you will say, Amma, nana valande. Okay, there is nothing like here. You have to work in a group. Okay, working in a group in the sense you have to do many things with a group environment. Okay, whether you want to get shaped, your peers will do that. Your lab mates will tell you. Okay, what all the mistakes they will be able to tell that. Okay, they will be able to shape you in that. Similarly, they also get shaped. Okay, so that is very important. Working in a group and intuitiveness. This is very important. What all happened, you should be able to get to that intuitive nature. Okay, there's something due to this only. This is due to the moisture I am getting the infrared peak. Okay, I should be able to know that. So that particular information you should have. Then proactive nature. Somebody, the teacher will tell, the guide will tell what to do next. That is not the attitude you should have. If you are able to, the teacher tells you that you please proceed in this particular direction, you have to also be proactive and then look extra into that. Okay, you learn that and then also go through, read the papers and get more out of it. So it becomes proactive nature. That's the reason after 3 years you will become better than your guide. That is mainly because of the proactive nature of that. After that, guide should not keep quiet. He should also learn from you. That's the reason Sahanava Bodhu is there. Okay, he should learn from you. Learn with you. That is what is important. Once that teacher learns with you, after 5 years, both will be the same level. New student joins. Okay, first 3 years, new student will learn with the guide. Guide would have taught him new things. Okay, what all he has learned. Okay, after 3 years, the student will say, you are useless. I have got much better than you. Okay, now the guide's responsibility to do that. We are only talking about the research methodology for the students, not for the guides, right? So, let us not tell much further about that. Okay, now the interaction friendly. Somebody comes to you and then want to have an interaction. Okay, research scholars should not get annoyed. Okay, why should you? Because it is something like give and take policy. We are all learning together. Okay, we understand certain papers. We understand that. We discuss with the students. We discuss with the lab mates. We try to understand. They all will be understanding together and then grow together. Okay. Then focus on the work. That is very important. Okay. Just because Rajinikanth movie comes, we cannot run and do that. Okay. Or something like Talai. No? Talai, all nothing. Okay. We have to have our focus on the research. That is our ultimate goal. Whenever you are losing the focus, please remember that you will be losing years. Okay, that is very important. There are several people running with you, the marathon. Okay, any one delay, okay, any one concentration delay will cost you enormously. Okay, so as much as possible, try to be focused on your research work. Sometimes, if you are in the bathroom, you will get the idea. Okay, taking bath also will get an idea, right? Okay, while walking, while traveling, okay, you will get ideas. Unless the way you think about that, you will not get ideas, right? Always. So do that, you'll be able to get it. Okay. What all the tools for that? Okay, the basic tools I told you, now tools will go. Like literature survey. Okay. Nowadays, early literature survey started, right from the beginning. Stone carvings, palm leaves. Nowadays we are having papers. Okay, journal papers. Earlier journal papers were put in. No, we cannot get nowadays internet. We cannot have that. So during my earlier days, I used to go to the library. This much Gundu book will be there. You have to open that and then check for the keywords, and then what all the papers have been published, that would be printed there. That comes a little bit later only. So that we have to take it, find it out, write it on the piece of paper, go to the journal, take the paper, then do the photocopying and read that, and take a notebook and write it what you have written. Okay, all these things we were doing, but nowadays we have the internet and ChatGPT, which gives you the whole literature survey. Only thing is that the amount of literatures are enormous. Okay, you should be able to understand that, read it, understand that properly. Okay. Then search methods. Okay, nowadays search methods is very important. The ChatGPT also, how you search is very important, right? So here also, if you say that, that's an example I can tell. Okay, something like a digital media search methods are there, print media search methods are there. Libraries, if you say that, you will be able to get all such information over there. Then comes the authentication. What all the things you are getting, irrespective of whether it's journal or whatever be it is, okay, whether you are getting the information correct or not. Fellow will say that I put the barium titanate, I wanted to prepare. So I take barium carbonate or titanium dioxide or all that, I put it mixed in the proper way, I put it in the furnace at 1200 degrees centigrade, something like that. Okay, but thing is that furnace, okay, would have been having some problem. The meter, what it is measuring 1200 may not be accurately measuring that. Actually, it would have been 1250, but the reading says you only 1200. Will you then, what happens to your thing? You'll start putting 1200, nothing. You will not get anything. You will get only porous material. Okay, sintering will not have happened. Material will not have formed, right? So, thing is, authenticity you have to check. You have to verify each and everything. Okay, that is very important. That so you have to have that authentication. Okay, and you should not believe in the WhatsApp University. Okay, like anything for everything, not only for research, for everything. Okay, you don't believe these type of universities. Okay, but you go and then verify whether they are correct or not. That's the reason you have to, even if you are getting some kind of a simulation results, you do the simulation of the standard things and then verify whether your programming skill is good or not. You authenticate that, you make it correct or not. Okay, you check whether your code is correct. Once your code is right, but your thing is not coming, the published result is not getting matched, then you can verify whether something is right or wrong. Okay, then there is a possibility of a lot of biased information in the thing. It is not only for our science, I'm telling, for many things. History, if you say that, biased information would be very heavy. Please, one has to be careful in that. Okay, so you have to take at least 20 years of the back literatures and verify whether what all you are getting it, the analysis, everything is consistent or not. Okay, check back references and do that. Okay, and then you arrange them in order or in subject wise. Okay, such a way that it helps you. Whenever you do that, you can immediately. Because today, my collaborator from IG car, he was almost retired, so he has come. He has a pen drive. When I ask for a paper, immediately he puts it and checks. He put everything in order, which topic, which thing, so under which category. The way how he maintains that. Okay, that is very important. You arrange them as per your convenience, but on subject wise, and prepare a table of what is done. So what it is, don't believe in all your thing. Write it into your hand, okay, and put it on a notebook. What is very important? What is that this particular paper is doing, etc. Okay. Prepare a table and what were to be done, what yet to be done, etc. So that you will be able to know the difference, the gaps where the mistake, so where I can go and fill it. Okay, these things can be easily found out in that. And before selecting, okay, ensure that you have sufficient facilities. I want to do certain things, but say hydrothermal process I want to do, but I don't have facilities. Then where you have to use that, and what type of nitrites you might use, is it explosive nature, all the things you can verify and do that accordingly. Okay. Now, how to search the journal? Okay, I don't need to teach you this, because, but the thing is, the search uh, where that phrases is becoming very important. Okay, with the variable search phrases, you will do that. ChatGPT nowadays is doing that. Okay, it is, you put that, it gives you many things. Okay, but still, somebody's work you want to use that, you have to do your work, right? So search for yourself, and then that will give you a lot of information on that. So for an example, if you put the Google search for microwave photoconductivity decay in silicon, then if I put SI, if I put silicon, you see the difference in that. Okay. Nowadays, even the Google is able to understand SI means silicon, immediately puts it. Okay. But no, it is. It's not that every time it may be true. Okay. So that's the reason I'm telling you. So whenever you are using different search engines, different things are there. Okay. For looking for journal, you are looking for whether you are notes, articles. Okay. It's only reports. All these things are going to be there in that. Okay, let the case of lead titanate, you get 62,800 for your PBTiO3. Whereas you put lead titanate, gives you many things. Okay, so, and another one is JSTOR is another search software for the journal thing, which gives you 22 only. Whereas lead titanate, if I type it, it gives 239. Okay. Similarly, Scopus for PBTiO3 gives only 4,004. Whereas if I put lead titanate, it becomes 10,856. So like that, no? It's only general, some number I have given you. It's not that if you go and check it up now, you will get that. Okay, you make it being more different also. Okay. So the thing is, it gives you a kind of a thing why this search engines, no? You have to use it carefully with you have to get more and more papers. Another is back references. People take back references, okay, and then say further from that. But whenever you take the back references, please read the paper and try to write in a piece of paper the crux of the paper. Okay, what it is doing, why it is doing, etc. Okay, so get the basics, cross-verify with others to know the variations. With the various things, cross-verify that, and then try to collect it, because it's not easy for you to collect 1,000 papers. Okay, you have to only collect something like around few hundreds, so that you will not be able to. Otherwise, you will not be able to decipher that or read and learn everything from that. Okay. Now you have to grow as a researcher. Once you are getting that, okay, how to do the research work. Okay. I have joined an university. Okay. I have done the coursework. The coursework is there, right? We're all doing coursework. Right? Why should you do coursework? To understand. Learning fundamental principles. Right? Sometimes, no, my university may not be, but my undergraduate or my postgraduate in the previous university or previous college, okay, they would not be given us a nice exposure, okay, and then sometimes I would have gone as a teacher somewhere, joined back. I was working for 1 year, I forgot everything as a clerk, I forgot everything. So I was reading only Anandavidan, Kumudam, no nothing on your research paper. But then when I joined back, okay, I have to brush my knowledge. That time these all things will be very much useful. Coursework becomes very useful for us. Okay, so that is very important. And discussion with the fellow researchers, seniors, and guides. Okay, that is another important fundamental principle for the learning. Okay, you have to discuss with the guide. Okay, what would be the doubts? Okay, you try to check with the seniors and guides. Okay, and then try to understand that much more effectively. Okay, if there is any doubt, please do not worry about that, because he is like your he or she. Okay, guide is always he or she. They are like your parents. Okay, please give interest on them, and then get all the doubts cleared. You should not hesitate to go to him and then say that. He may say that what is that you even do not know this. Doesn't matter. Okay, but it is for the betterment of yours. You can learn more from him. Okay, that. Learning the teaching skill, that is another important. Every researcher, as I told you, they are very good storyteller and then story writer. How to become a storyteller? Okay, not the first day, standing before the audience and then say, okay, it's not easy. First you have to go and stand in front of the wall, okay, and then tell that. Then slowly increase that. Read first, okay. Many times I see that, okay, the research scholars come with, sir, namaskaram, folded hands. He will not open his mouth other than doing the work, okay, for eating only, nothing else. But then slowly after 3 years, he became very good orator. Okay, he could nicely speak. After 5, 6 years, when he was coming from US, he was delivering the super talk in the IWPSD conference. Okay, so the way you are growing up with that, okay, that is what you are learning the teaching skills. The teaching skill means the teacher, uh, I have been asked to take only for 1.5 hours, but I got only 25 slides. Right? If you see that number, 9th slide only. Okay. That's where, whatever be the number of slides, you should be able to give the story. Right? So that skill, the research scholar should develop. Okay. You should develop the skills of taking the lesser number. We allow only 20 slides. Ask them to teach for 40 minutes. 20 slides, 40 minutes only we allow. Okay. And that person has to give the total research work. So, in concise form, without wasting the time, okay, and then making the audience understandable. Okay, so these things possible only with the learning, the teaching skills. You have to be a teacher, go to the class and teach instead of your teacher. Guide, ask the day to go there, I will teach. You teach one day, okay, and then get the information on that. So it gives you a lot of understanding on the subject, enhances your expression skills. Okay. Then the interaction with the seniors is very important. They are your chota gurus. Okay. Without them, you cannot move here and there, right? So they only teach you whether it is furnace operation or whether using your computer, the programming properly, learning MATLAB or Python. Okay. Their guide, Chota guide will tell you everything, right? So they are the main important things. Another one, they will give you the trade secrets. When to come, when not to come, when the teacher will come. That also they will do very nicely. Okay. So apart from that, you will do the experiment. Okay. Experiment when you do, sometimes you cannot do for 24 hours experiment. You cannot sit every time. So your seniors, your colleagues will be able to help you that. Okay. So same way, when you become senior, you have to do the help to juniors also. Okay, you can't rag them. Okay, you have to do that. So have a good relationship with your seniors. Okay, and then do that. So obtaining experimental skills, another preliminary groundwork you have to do. Okay, involving all your XRD, TSC, TGA. Okay, going to the computer center, programming, all that you have to do. Okay, error analysis is very important in methodology of instrumentation. Okay, and then learning methodology instrumentation you should have. Error analysis is another important aspect of that. Many times the research scholars are not learning that. Okay, so error analysis becomes, because whenever you do the graph, you think that our origin software will give you all the errors. Automatically it will give the error bar, etc. It is your responsibility to do the error analysis. You cannot take XRD and put your C, ABC parameters with 7 decimal place accuracy just because your calculator gives that or your computer gives that. Okay, you have to ensure that why you need to have 7 digit, why should we stop with the 2 digits, 3 digits, etc. That comes only with your understanding on the error analysis. Okay, maybe nowadays people are not taking so seriously, because I have told several times to the research scholars, please concentrate on the errors so that you cannot put more number. So if you say a 1% error, that must be within 1%. All your results should be put within that. Okay, ensure that. Okay. So graphical skill. If you do not know how to draw a graph, it's something like, I might be having a nice shirt, but if you do not know how to wear the shirt, there will be a problem, right? So that's also something like graphical skill. You might have got data, but if you do not know how to present the data in a graphical form, most of the times the graphical form gives you very large amount of information. Okay, within the way the graph looks like, you will know whether it's a rich material, that material, okay, what its band gap, all that you will be able to find it out, right? That. Okay, so you also should have a very small or knowledge about rectifying the instruments, or if you are at all an experimentalist person, okay, that way, the additional skills will be. That means if you are a researcher, you right from your, you have to do the job of sweeping to that of high funda rocket launching, okay, right. All the knowledge you should have. You don't need to wait for others, okay. You want something wrong and your geyser is not working, you should be able to know, okay, because that is the skill you are getting developed in these things, okay. Okay, so for experimentalists, most of the times it is done on instrumentation. If you are a new instruments you are going to develop, most of the times it will be on the instrumentation, writing softwares, the controlling computer. So that time, your teacher, your guru or Chota guru will be able to help you enormously in that. Okay. Then it is, if you are a programmer, then it becomes C++. All that you should have to learn that. Okay. Then you have to make your own timeline for that. Okay. I want to do it within 5 years. Otherwise, I will not get money. Stipend will not be there. So you have to put the timeline. Put the timeline in such a way, just because you want to put timeline, don't put the timeline. Put a timeline which you can follow. Okay? And then this timeline is not going to be static. It is a dynamic timeline. So it has to change. Okay? Whenever you do that, you will be able to change that. Okay? That way you do that. Okay? So like the example is, like I say, I want to optimize the first system. Okay, I want to dope barium titanium with certain material. That's my first system I want to study. You write what all the things you want to do that. Okay, and then get to the up to the attending conference. You have to make it. Okay, you have to write the paper. All that you have to do that. Okay, so keep the timelines such a way that you are able to form it. Whenever you want to do that timelines, your once again concentration of work, your continuous thinking, all that will come into this timeline. Otherwise, the timeline gets broken. Okay, so ensure to adhere to that, but you should be able to modify in case of any emergencies. Okay, please remember that you may say that I want to dope certain material, X material with that of the barium titanate, but then that may not work. So you have to have a backup plan, right? So always in the research, there is always backup plan is available. After 1 or 2 years, the backup plan will go. Your main plan only will work, or the backup plan becomes the main plan. Okay, that way it goes. Okay, you are planning. Okay, so you have to be very systematic in your approach. Okay, so as I mentioned that you write down this all that planning timeline, the procedure you will be writing it down. So keep the procedure and record what are the things you are doing every day. That is very, very important aspect in your research life. Whether you do the research, whether you take the data, or whether you are doing keeping the samples for your centering, okay, or you are doing some kind of a measurement, or all these things, you will be able to write it on them. Like a diary, it's called a research diary, which will have a date, okay, and time, then you'll do what you have done. Record that. That is very, very important for that, okay. Documentation is going to be the very key to success, okay. And this documentation is the one which you, after 20 years, if you see that, you should be able to remember what is that. That's the reason nowadays you have the computers, everything you immediately put it in the file and put that. Even the file name, you have to write it on that diary so that you will be able to get the information on that. So whenever I tell my student, I tell them that if you put a graph or if you put anything, you write it down, what all the things are there. In a notepad at least. Create a notepad that day. It's like a diary for you. And do that and save it every day. Okay. So that is the one which will give you a very good thing. Okay. And then whenever you do the measurements or whenever you do any other research work, try to ensure that whether repeatability is there or not. Or you want to do, teacher job is what? Every day you prepare for that thing, You should not make a mistake of plus sign, minus sign, all that. Okay. Here, if you are doing the derivation and then want to send the journal, you have to recheck it up. Because it should not have any error on that. Okay. So, repeatability and reliability is very important for that. So, any measurement what you do must follow, adhere to the thing. Okay. Okay. Just because that data comes very nicely in the straight line, you should not be happy. Okay. Sometimes the actual thing should have been a curve. Okay. It must be a second order equation. So one has to be careful. Always, once again, say about the error analysis. Okay, how much error? If at all I'm measuring 1 milligram of a powder, how much error I will be having in that, right? Because that is the one which will kill you in the XFs. Okay, when you are doing how much composition you want to do that, it may not be able to give you correct result. Okay, then you should know how to plot a graph. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so research diary, as I mentioned that, it will be very, very important. Okay, it must be electronic way or it can be physical way. Okay, physical diary or it can be electronic diary, whatever it is. It has to be done properly. If you are running a program, you have to properly tag with the data and details. Okay, you have to save every data and the backup formation also. So if you do the backup formation, you will be able to save that, because otherwise nowadays we cannot rely on the electronic chips. Okay, it may fail any time. So always keep a backup. Okay, and do that. Any deviations or not getting the expected result, please do not hesitate to contact or to discuss with your colleagues. Okay, and then do that. So no, that gives you a good understanding of the subject. Okay, plotting the data. So is what is there? It's there right from the 12th standard. We are doing the plot, right? Plotting the graph. Okay, time versus position to get your velocity. All that we are doing, right? What is a great deal to learn that. But if you see that many of the students, they are not plotting the graph properly because they rely on origin software or Excel or GNU plot if you are in the latex fellow, okay, or if it is lab plot, it's another software available. These things they rely on. Say they put X column, Y column, block it, press, click that, and then it gives you the picture. Immediately takes the printout. Okay, sometimes you will have time axis, and that fellow will put time in the negative axis also. Because the software doesn't know whether it's time or something like that, right? It will give you that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So time 0 means there is no, nothing called time 0. Anyhow, it's a reference to time t naught, which is 0. Okay, let us take that. But then negative also goes into the printing. So certain things, no weight going negative. MG cannot be negative in that, otherwise the different way of doing it. Okay. So that way, people have to be careful. So if you see that software gives you directly that, the time axis, you see that 0 and then left, there is a thing. Okay. Avoid that. Okay. You put it. And to make it nice, the fitting, whenever you are going to fit it the proper one. Okay. Just because it looks linear, you don't put the linear, because certain things you may not be able to see that. Okay. So one has to be careful in that. Whenever you are going to put the points, between 2 points you are putting a line, unless otherwise you are ensuring that if at all I do the measurement, the point falls exactly on the line. Okay, you should not put the straight line. You have to put only dotted lines in that. So that is dotted line is for guidance to eye. That's all. Okay, so you have to do that. Okay. So color selection is very important. Are you able to see that color? Not that good, right? The color selection I have written it with the blue, yellow, orange color. Okay. Many times you will find that I was that plots will be having colors, yellow color, maroon, green, the blue, light blue. I do not know whether it's blue or green, whatever it is. Okay. So because your origin graph gives, group it and click it, it gives. People are using all sorts of colors. Okay. Please, we have to see. The reviewer has to see that and then check whether it's correct or not. Okay, that's it. See here, lot of colors are there. 7 plots in a single thing. Are you able to get anything from this? That thing says that if at all you vary the for the material or something, the frequency shifts. Okay, how do I know? Very difficult. So in this particular case, what is the remedy? I can actually take the smaller region, if at all what is that interest, I then put a larger graph. Okay, saying that insert, I can do that. Okay, that way it can be. Okay, so another one is, see, this, 1 point is, always it goes like this. Okay, so 1.100, because the software gives that. There is no need for second decimal place for that. So these type of things, you can take care of that, just because don't rely on this thing and do that. Okay. So now the thing is presenting your work. I think earlier Dr. Ravichandran has told you about how to present the work, etc. very elaborately, okay. So here, if you see that, no, through seminar you are going to present that, it gives you a very good oratorical skill, okay. So what you do is you do the group discussions, okay, and then group seminars you have to do. So that way you improve that. It removes your stage fear, okay. And then group seminars is going to be very, very essential. Weekly seminars, sometimes monthly seminars they'll be having. Okay, in our lab we have weekly seminars, okay, so that people will be able to do that, okay. So they will be learning, okay. They all would be coming from a different background, like from village background. Some people will be from a very good schools, okay. But when they come here, we should be able to teach them how to actually give a talk on that, okay. So that way it is. Okay, so encourage fellow researchers to ask questions. That is very important. I want to learn. Just because I am putting it, if you don't ask me questions, I will be very much unhappy. That same way, you also know should say that no, I should ask questions. I should know. I should ask probing questions to the teacher, or I should ask probing teacher questions to the seniors to know why it is happening. My fellow researchers know when they are putting a graph, I should know why it is. Once so there is a class to be given, know how to ask questions. Okay, always ensure that why. If somebody is, why you are doing it, what did you get it, how can you explain this? These are all the things, no, you can ask, and then you will be able to get better understanding. Same way, you ask questions on your own, and then you will be able to get more answers from that. Okay. So learning from others, and Dr. Ravichandran told others' mistakes. I say that from the positive aspect also you should learn, okay, from others. Okay, so learn from others. It gives you an opportunity because you are in a group. Like it's not a single kid in the family. The single kid does not have anybody to learn in the family, right? But if you are having some 4 kids, 5 kids, they all will be very happy. They all will be making trouble to the parents. That is a different issue. Okay, you have people who can discuss, who can actually talk to. Okay, same way here. If you are in a research group with 4 or 5 research scholars, it's not something like a family. Okay, nicely you can discuss, you can do everything you want. Okay, so it gives you the opportunity to learn that. Okay, so that way you will be able to get it. It gives you different perspectives. One fellow will have a different perspective, etc. That is very important. And then you have the learning to question others. Okay, and then involve in the open discussion. That also gives you a very good understanding of the subject. Okay, always be a critic. Okay, should be a critic of any work. You check whether it is correct or not. Just because it's published in applied research letters, okay, applied physics letters, or in high funda nature group, it doesn't mean that they are correct. Okay, one has to be able to find, and understand what is correct in that. Okay, now PPT if you want to prepare, keep it very nice, plain. Okay, so that people will be able to understand that. Don't use colors like yellow. Okay, that yellow are able to see anything. Okay, better not to do that. So like that, many things you can do that. Always the number. Many times I have seen, people have not put the slide numbers. Okay, referencing they don't do. Okay, they have to put many slides together, many plots together. Okay, which people will not be able to read at all. Okay, so that is very important. So if you are using smart art, okay, then you have to be careful with that. You have to put a proper title slide. The font has to be proper. If you want this last bencher, even though they are sleeping, okay, want to see that, they should be able to see. Okay, so that is very important. Nobody is sleeping. Don't look here and there. Nobody is sleeping. Okay, so always number the slide. Okay, and then whenever you import any picture, give always a reference. That is very important for that. Okay, referencing is very, very important. Okay, always talk more, show less. The sense, give only points. Like last talk Dr. Ravichandran gave only points, but he was going on talking. Okay, that is how it should be. You have to go up to that level and do that. Okay, we may unless otherwise if we are maybe very good researcher, but if you are not able to tell, okay, what to explain properly, the people will think that you don't have the ability, or you are not a good researcher. But you may not have anything, you may not have done anything, but the way you are presenting, the people will think that you are great. It's something like a beggar nicely dressing it and then walking. Okay, Whereas the fellow, even though he may be a very good industrialist or something, he may not be wearing a good dress. People will not bother about him, right? It's the same way here. One has to have a proper mixing of both, okay? You have to be able to express what you are, and otherwise all will become a waste, okay? So, do not fill with the small size graphs. Finally, present the summary at the end of that, okay? So, are you able to see anything? This is my student only presented. Okay. Because anyway, he was having a constraint. Okay, he was not that bad. Okay, he used to give very nice lecture. He used to get even prize actually. Okay, for that oral presentation phrase, he will used to get it. But now I forced him to deliver his lecture within 30 minutes. Okay, so 20 slides only he prepared. For whole 5 years of work, he presented only 20 slides. So then he was giving this way, okay. So that this is the one which, even though he is a very good student, he is getting degree also, okay. Okay, now you see that the same student, when he was a leisure, he has given this, okay. That time the slide number will go up to 40, 50, etc. Okay. So that time, no, he gives all the information, what all information covering, where to do, okay. This is not, it's fully covering that. Same time, it is not overcrowding, okay. Gives the information what to be given, okay. So this is the same student, okay, gives that in a different way, okay. So the presentation, that preparing the slide tells you many things, okay. That tells you about the confidence of the teacher or confidence of the person who is actually telling that, okay. So performing your research, now it is report writing. So you are doing some research work. I'm not telling how you have to do the research, okay. That is varies from person to person, or some that is subject to subject, okay. So now once you are getting certain things, you should be able to write your report. So not to write the report, which one starts right from LKG. Your LKG is research diary, okay. So your LKG class will be starting from that. So you start writing the research diary. The research diary helps you write your report, okay. So that is the one which gives you that, okay. So you have to give your reports very bi-monthly sometimes, okay, bi-annually, monthly, weekly, okay. So depending on that, you can prepare the reports properly, okay. You can have a style of writing it. You create your own style of writing. You don't need to copy the style from others, okay. Create your own way of writing it and then follow that properly, okay. So that way, if it is done, it is be good. So it is something like example. Now you want to do the, I want to, what is my aim, okay. So that will be, aim will be having the methodology you have followed, some results, and then what will be the plan for the next session. So that way you will be able to put your report writing properly, okay. Once you do that, no, your, whether it is the research report can give you failures also. It can also show the sense the failures in your research work, okay. It can also show the success in your research. Both should be there. Because from the failure, you will also be learning how to make it success, okay. Which mistake you have done, that you can rectify later, okay. Now, so as I mentioned that research diary is becoming very important. Your collection of papers are also going to help you in writing the report, okay. So when you do that, and then as I mentioned that you have to do the analysis in that particular report and use your own sentences, that don't copy paste from your the chat GPT, okay, or that type of things. Don't do use that. If at all you are going to use that, use your own words, okay, and then see the crux of that. It helps you to understand. So you take a book, okay, I want to know the crux of this particular paper. Chat GPT may give you that, okay. Take it and read that, okay, and then but you write on your own sentence. Grammar mistakes can be there, doesn't matter initially. Everything can be there. It's not that we born as a kind of a very good native English speakers, okay. We are born in a village, okay, where we have really learned to know how to write Tamil, okay, or their mother tongue only, okay. So it's not that everybody will be very good in English writing, but slowly, we'll be able to learn from that and then write it, okay. So grammar mistakes can be there. Anyway, nowadays we have softwares which can rectify the grammar, but certain English departments, faculty or students can help you in correcting that, okay. That time, please learn from them also, okay. Any figures or download, you put it properly referenced But all you are going to take the same sentence together, put under quote and quote, and then give a reference on that. Okay. So this is going to be the stepping stone to write the journal paper. If you are able to write the nice report, naturally guide in how to correct your paper. So automatically you will be able to get that. So 4 more slides. Okay. Now, how to perform your research? In this case, the publication. Okay. Once you are able to do very nice, means reports, you are doing that. Extension of the report becomes your paper. Okay. But then the paper, when you are doing that, you should be able to put a basic background. So, if at all, as I mentioned that, you should have a story writer. When you are writing a story, you should know why you are writing the moral story you want to write. So, what moral story I am going to write it. So what all the character. Like that we start, no? Same way, here also we should start why I am doing it. Okay, the first paragraph, first 2 paragraphs are becoming very important for the paper. Okay, that tells you that reviewer will read that first and then try to understand. The actually not reviewer, editor will read that. Okay, editor will read the abstract and the first introduction, first 2 things, and check is there anything new in that. So there itself you will start writing why people have to read my paper. What is that I have done extra? Okay, why I am so important? I have to sell myself, right? Otherwise, who will buy? Okay, if I don't tell great about myself, who will tell about me? Okay, so we have to do that. So write that my paper is so nice. Okay, so this is what I have done. People have not done this yearly. This is the problem with others. My paper is great. If they read it, they'll get Nobel Prize. Like that, no? You are going to write it. Okay, once they see that, they will be able to say that, okay, we can send it for a review. Okay, so you have to do the literature review properly in that particular thing. Tell because why others are not doing much better than me. So you have to do the proper literature review for that, and then explain very clearly the research methodology. Some people actually mask certain information. Okay, some temperatures they may mask, sometimes pressure values they may mask, etc. Okay, so they may not tell so that others will be repeating it and then bypass the work. So that is something people will think that. Okay, but be careful. Later you will also be trapped within your own grave. That okay, so better be careful in that. Okay, so research methodology, then presentation of the result you will be giving it in a particular thing, and then you have a discussion, conclusion. You have to put the proper references. The references should not be very old. Okay, and it should have a latest references. Okay, if you are having that, then people will see. Okay, fine. Your paper is very good for reading. It will give you a good understanding. Like that, reviewer may think. Okay, and then publish it. That is always very important. The continuity between one paragraph and another paragraph. It is a very, very, very important thing. Okay, it's like a story, no? If you see Ananda Vidan Kumudam, if you read it, you should read actually. Okay, nowadays I don't know whether it comes or not. When you read it, the way the story is being given, no? From one paragraph it completes, Maladi Ange Sendru, Tanir Ardinal. Next, Maladi what she will do. Okay, that starts from that. So one should learn how to write the story. Okay, so that way continuity becomes very important. Okay, so here, even though it looks very thing, I have to copy paste. Okay, so I have to copy pasting I have done. This is for the scientific research paper, which says that abstract what you are doing. The abstract becomes very, very important. It tells you why your paper has to be accepted. Okay, that itself will allow the editor to pass on to the reviewer. Otherwise, the editor will return it back. Editor returns, you will not be able to write the editor that my paper is very great, etc. He will say that even though your paper is very great, my journal is not suitable for that. Because he will read that and say that it's useless work. Then he will send it back. Even though you have done very nice work, okay, the way you are writing it should tell you that it should be the one which you should publish. We should do that. Okay, that way. So, and also that must go for the latest work people have done, etc. It should follow that. And your conclusion when you are doing it, it should match that of the abstract. Otherwise, there's no point. Okay. So, conclusion when you are doing that, both should see that it will be matching. Some extra will be there, no doubt in conclusion, because analysis will be added up to that. But then you can't contradict the abstract and conclusion. That is what is very important. Okay. So, that way if you are taking it care, then even your first paper will get accepted without any problems. Okay. Okay. Now comes your several papers were published, okay, were great. Now you are going for the thesis submission. Your teacher, as soon as the teacher says that, okay, got 3 papers published, 4 papers published, you come to the logical conclusion of your work, okay, you can publish, okay. So, your thesis, publish your thesis. Please, this is your book, okay, your book, you have to only write it, right? And then your book, what you will do, you will take utmost care, no? You can't expect, the guide will correct, will make all the mistakes he will do, all the mistakes what I have done, guide will correct. Don't have that attitude, because that is your book, okay? You can acknowledge your guide, but you are owning up your book. That means you have to write it with utmost care, give 4 or 5 people, correct it, okay? And then, so 5 to 6 iterations, it will go between the student and guide, okay? Once it is done, chapter by chapter, okay, continuity between chapter and chapter, okay, referencing, all that. Referencing nowadays, softwares are available, okay, when you are using LaTeX, automatically it gives that referencing to that. But earlier we were not having such an opportunity in that, okay. So, this is your book, so you have to be responsible for that, okay. What all the information you give, it must be correct. Your book, people will rely on your book, right? If you write it saying that the sun rises in the west, people will read that, and slowly the whole next generation will see that, okay, the direction is west, like that they will start doing it. So one has to be careful, one has to be very correct in writing your own book, okay. Don't make mistakes on that, okay. So with that, I would like to stop my talk on such methodology. Did I give summary? Summary is correct? What all the things I have given, summary is correct? Right, okay, summary is correct, so I am very happy, okay. I thank Professor Gulam, okay, for inviting me, okay, to give a small presentation on that, okay. Okay. But research methodology is your own thing, okay. You do your research, so happy researching, okay. Don't think that have a nice researching, okay, don't get tensed, okay. You have another 4 more years to go, if I remember correctly, okay, and then have a nice life ahead, okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. So, though there are so many takeaways from your lecture, one thing that it hit my mind was focus on work. So, losing focus is losing years. You guys have to remember that losing focus is losing years. So, one day you delay, it's like one day you're delaying your IOS examination. Thank you so much, sir.